Okay, I've already mentioned in a video about Dawn and David, their brother and sister, and their um, brother and sister, that the only two siblings, and they came from a very dysfunctional family, and it was mainly their grandmother on the mother's side, and well, they grew up, and there's a whole video about all that, and at this point they are both writers, but David has agoraphobia, and for some reason it helps him to write under either his sister's name. It's more like a collaboration, but she puts it in her name, and that's what he wants. And she's a little older, and he also does a pen name for just certain things, more scientific. She writes more like romance novels, and they do some that are just kind of like drama together. Various kinds of things they do. Well, when they moved back to where they were originally, where they were born, they moved back to the town. Both their parents are, their mother and the grandmother are gone. The parents are gone. The elders are gone in their family. But when they moved back, because Dawn had been in their RV with Chris, their David's friend who does the driving. She goes around and they go through, using a big, huge, nice RV. And when she goes to like book signings and stuff like this, she's a bestseller. Well, they decided, because of this goes back to early 2020, what was going on. She decided to go back to the county, and they just stay. They weren't going to be traveling, so they wanted to get back, and they did. And then basically, this is where it starts. Okay, so after they got back and they got settled, I'm sorry this is kind of rough, but yeah, it's a little bit more traffic than I expected. This is a rough drive, but yeah, there's a lot more traffic. Seriously, a lot more things going on here than usual. So, what is it? It's usually not too much traffic. Hopefully, yeah, I'm going to stop. Anyway, so when David gets back, because he has this agoraphobia, and he doesn't really leave the home or the RV. There are only certain places he will go, and that's like from their home to their RV, and things like this. Okay, but other than that, he doesn't want to go out. And he gets back and he wants to get some, help for that. Okay, now that they're settled back, where they grew up, and it's a really wealthy county and all, and they have they have some help, and he tries to find somebody. He calls a woman that I think he saw her online or something, and around his age, but it was Charlene. She said that right now she wasn't taking new clients, this kind of thing. She wouldn't be able to help him. And she gave overall, so she gave him a referral. Well, the referral gave him some of the elders that had just, it was a married couple, it is a married couple, they had just retired from doing their counseling. They had their own counseling. So this one didn't know, they gave him the number. And well, these counselors had retired, but they decided they were going to do this one. Yeah, I love your noise. But, they were going to, take him on as a client. Some think it's called patient, but it's a client. And so they were helping him. Well, through helping him, the client, they basically, he disclosed to them, which they have to keep, they can't tell other people, that he was how he did his writing under his sister's name and a pen name and all that. And at the time, they were looking for writers for the radio station, because the radio station, they had a couple of sociologists that were writing. There's a video about all that, but they were also looking for other writers, because the stories they wrote became so popular, and listeners wanted more. They wanted more of the old-fashioned stories that you listen on the radio, and that's what they had been doing. It wasn't how it started, but that's what it became. And so they wanted more. And knowing that David's sister is a published author, you know, they thought, wow, but they can't because of him being their client. They brought it up and they told him that because he had heard about it or something, and so they told him that they couldn't hire him because he's a client, no matter, and that's his sister. They couldn't hire either one of them. He understood, but then they added something that, well, David's pretty smart, and he figured it out. They said, we can't hire you. Okay. I think most people don't have to be real smart to figure that one out. Yeah, the radio station could hire him, but they couldn't hire him. So that's what happened. The radio, he told his sister, and they called the radio station, and yes, they wanted him because she is a bestseller, on the bestsellers list. So they started doing just like Polly and Poppy, their sisters. And they're not sisters to them; they're sisters to one another only. Okay, and they also were doing this. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this up because I'm not sure if I went too far on this road. I always pass up this one place. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye. Oh, and I should mention, this is a hypothetical fictional storyline series. Videos, it's all copyrighted to me, even the rough drafts, the highlights, all that is copyrighted to me. And yeah, fictional. And of course, it's located in Victorson County, Texas. Texas is real, of course, but Victorson County isn't, and anybody in it that comes from my brain, of course it doesn't exist, so they are all from my brain. They're all fictional. Okay, now I'm wrapping it up, and I'm glad I stopped because that's where it is, where I want to go, right to my right. Talk to you on another video.